all of these things need to ferment for 2 in-game days. No matter what it is, it takes 2 days to ferment. Alright, welcome back, citizens one and all. We're going to go through my top 10 list of all things fermenter, and this is pretty much just going to cover all the current recipes, plus a couple of other basics on how to make them. But a little bit of bonus info before we really jump into this. Really stack up how many beehives you have. Every single recipe requires 10 honey, no matter what it is. 10 to 20 beehives, maybe even more than that. Always try and keep a box full of honey. You'll find yourself going through a lot of this mead, more than you would expect, and with 10 honey for every recipe, it definitely adds up quickly. Second, little bonus info here, all of these things need to ferment for 2 in-game days. No matter what it is, it takes 2 days to ferment. Beyond that, make sure that each fermenter is properly covered, as you can see here. And if it is not properly covered, it will prompt you that it's wrong. But beyond that, let's jump right into this. Number 1 right here being the cauldron. You need 10 bars for the cauldron. You'll find that 10 out in the Black Forest. Beyond that, you will need the cauldron to make all the mead bases as well as the barley wine base. And there are 7 mead bases and 1 barley wine base currently in the game. Which leads us on to just the fermenter itself. It requires 30 fine wood, 5 bronze, and 10 resin. And then you'll be able to build the fermenter itself, which you will then be able to place 1 barley base or mead base into. The minor healing potion, which requires 5 blueberries, 10 raspberries, 1 dandelion, and 10 honey. And beyond that, the minor healing potion heals 50 health over time, and overall is pretty useful early game, especially if you're trying to run hardcore or something similar like that. Very useful. Moving on to number 4 here is the medium healing, which will heal you for 75 health over time. And it requires, as we can see here, 10 raspberries, 4 blood bags, which you will get from leeches in the swamp, 1 dandelion, and 10 honey. Number 5 would be minor stamina, which is 10 raspberries, 10 yellow mushrooms, which you will find mostly in caves, in the dungeons in the swamp, or in the dungeons in the Black Forest. And then it also requires 10 honey. So 10 raspberries, 10 yellow mushrooms, 10 honey, and that will give you the minor stam potion, which will give you, over time, 80 stamina. Pretty good for early game. Definitely very useful in general, especially if you're in the middle of a boss fight and you're just tapped out. The number 6 would be medium stamina, which is 10 cloudberries. Those come from plains, 10 yellow mushrooms, 10 honey. Again, we see the yellow mushrooms always for stamina, and then the honey for everything. This one will give you 160 stamina over time, and I normally reserve these for boss fights or otherwise trying to get out of a situation that I can't get out of normally. Number 7 is the poison resist potion, just 10 honey, 10 coal, 1 necktail, and 5 thistle. Poison resist will protect you from poison for 10 minutes. Early game swamp, these are very useful. Everything can cause some poison damage, especially the leeches or some of the blobs. And then beyond that, you'll also need this for the bone mass fight. Very, very useful to have early game and then for the bone mass fight itself. Number 8 is frost resist, which is 10 honey, 5 thistle, 2 blood bags, and 1 gray dwarf eye. You will need frost resist early game in the mountains, especially if you want to jump over to the mountains before you fight bone mass, so you can go there, get the obsidian and a few other things. This is useful in the mountains up until you have the wolf cape, and then you won't need it again until you fight the 4th boss Motor, and you'll be needing to take this to fight Motor himself in tandem with your wolf cape and a wolf armor just to give you maximum frost resistance. Number 9 is fire resist, which is 10 cloudberries, 10 barley. And fire resist will protect you from burn damage for 10 minutes, and you mainly need this for the final boss fight, which is Yagluth in the plains. I've seen it be a kind of a little bit useful when fighting some of the fuelings there, especially the torch fuelings, especially early game in the plains. It still has its moments where it can be useful, not just for the boss fight there. So if you're maybe playing that hardcore mode and you want maximum fire resist protection from the fuelings, these are worth making a couple and just seeing if it's really beneficial or not for you. Then number 10 is the Tasty Mead, and that's 10 raspberries, 5 blueberries, and 10 honey. Tasty Mead will give you 300% stam regen for 10 seconds. It does lower health regen, but overall, the Tasty Mead has gotten me out of a handful of sticky situations, and there's no cooldown on it like you see with other meads, so you can take these back to back if you're just trying to run away from something, or maybe you're farming and you just want to keep mining what you're mining and keep that stamina there. These are very good. As you can see, I can just take them back to back and there's no cooldown on them, so that's very, very useful to remember. Early game, these are great. Survival mode or hardcore mode, if we play like that, these are great. Very useful. That is the top 10 things about the fermenters, how to get to the meads, everything you need to know. Again, friendly reminder, all these take 2 days to ferment, and make sure you have a lot of honeybees going on at all times. Always pick all those resources, raspberries, blueberries, cloudberries, just always be grabbing that stuff, especially the thistle. You'll find yourself needing thistle for near everything in the game, similar to honey. But in the meantime, everybody take care. Have a great time in Valheim. Please make sure to like and subscribe.